Ever since I was a little kid, I always liked checking to see what the rarest and most expensive Porsches for sale were. It's a great way to see some beautiful examples of some unique Porsches, and it's always interesting to see the changing trends in Porsche values. And I thought there's a few of you that also like doing the same thing, so I figured I'd start a weekly video series on the 10 coolest Porsches for sale that week. The first car on our list is this speed yellow 1997 Porsche 993 Turbo S for about $2.7 million. Now the car has 92 miles and it has probably never been driven, but it is a gorgeous example that looks to be in mint condition. Let's take a look at the interior here. So it looks like it's black leather with a lot of carbon fiber trim and some yellow paint and yellow leather details all together. This is a pretty exciting car. I don't know that it's worth the $2.7 million price tag they have it listed for. This is probably something of a one-of-a-kind car, being as it's so rare to begin with and it essentially has delivery-only mileage. What are your thoughts on this price? Does $2.7 million sound reasonable? And I don't even know if you could drive this car. I would think after a couple decades of having not been driven, the seals and the hoses are probably pretty cracked and pretty eroded, and if you ever did want to drive it, you would probably need to replace the majority of them. But I would imagine that anyone who buys this car is simply going to collect it and keep it in a garage and probably never drive it. The next car on our list is this Bianco Rosa commission by Gunther Works. This is based on a 1995 Porsche 993. I've actually seen this car in real life and it is a very stunning vehicle. It's finished in pearl with silver and red details. The outside is nice, but the interior of this car is really what makes it incredible. Unfortunately, these are some pretty low resolution pictures, but if you saw this car in real life, I mean, this interior is so exciting and it just begs you to jump in and start driving it. And these Gunther Works cars are all incredible, but this definitely is one of the nicer ones around. Let's see what they're looking at as price here. They want $1.24 million. Let's see if that's been lowered at all. Okay, so they started at about $1.3 million and now they're down to about $1.25 million. Honestly, the car is probably worth it. It's got a little over 2,300 miles. It's good to see that someone has actually been driving it, but this is an absolutely incredible one-of-a-kind vehicle. There's some shots of the engine bay. If you've never seen one of these Gunther Works cars in real life, they are just absolutely gorgeous. Every little bit of detail is very impressive. You can see it's got some gold foil up here inside of the engine lid. And inside in the front trunk, you've got some of these suspension components here. And I can remember when I did see this car in real life, there are some storage compartments down here. Let's see if we've got some pictures of those. You can't really tell, but really unbelievable car. Like I said, probably is worth the money they've got it listed at. The third car on our list is this stunning 1994 Porsche 911 Turbo S slant nose. They're asking about $1.2 million. This is a black on black car, so there's not a lot of unique detail to it, but that black on black really helps to show off a lot of this car's great design details. The silhouette of this vehicle is amazing. These lines up front of the slant nose look so good. You've got this extended rear spoiler here, and then being that everything is black, you've got these red brake calipers that jump out from behind those polished Speedline wheels. Let's go through some of the images here. Now, according to the seller, there were only 76 of these cars made. I think the engine here is just the standard Turbo S engine for the 964 era. Now, the interior of this car is not really unique simply because of the black on black motif. The seller does say that there is some contrast piping, but I don't see that. So pretty basic, pretty Spartan interior. Well, let's take a look at the price a little more closely and see if they've lowered it at all. Oh boy, look at this. They had it started off at a little bit under $1 million, and then they raised it to about $13 million, and I guess that was a little bit overpriced. So they lowered it down to about $1.3 million and then raised it to about $1.4 million, and now it sits at about $1.2 million. I don't know if that's really worth it or not. Let's look at the mileage. Well, it's got a little over 23,000 miles. It is a pretty incredible car. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this incredible Turbo S 964 slant nose? The fourth car on this list is this extremely eye-catching 2023 911 Sport Classic, finished in Oslo blue with white details. This is an extremely eye-catching and gorgeous car. Now, if you're not familiar with these cars, these are essentially 911 turbos with a manual transmission and a few other unique details like a double bubble roof and the ducktail rear spoiler. Let's take a look at the interior of this one. So far, it looks like we've got a basic black interior with some wood trim here on the door. We've got some carbon fiber details, basic black leather. Looks like we've got some more wood trim on the dash here. Then we've got some more wood trim on the center console. And of course, we have the manual transmission, which makes these cars so rare and so wonderful. Let's see what we've got it priced at. It's got 107 miles on it. So essentially delivery miles, it's a little over $537,000. Let's see, it says there's a price drop here. Let's check that out. So it looks like it was originally listed for a little under $550,000. It was dropped $4,000, then it was dropped another $5,000, and then it was dropped another $2,000. So it looks like this is a pretty motivated seller. So if this is something you're interested in and it's in your price range, you might want to reach out and see if there's some flexibility. The fifth car on this list is a Porsche 993 GT2 Tribute. So this is actually a 1996 Carrera 2 that has been modified to look like a GT2. It's adventuring green. It looks like they did a really good job. I think if you saw this car at a show, you would have no idea that it was not an original vehicle. Let's see, looks like the interior. We've got the sport seats in black leather with some red stitching down the center. We've got the 911 GT decal. I believe those are the original wheels for the 911 GT. Here's the motor. So we can see it does have the turbo modification to it. Interior, it's got the updated door panels. It's got the updated stick shift. I think these cars typically had a roll cage inside. This one does not. It's got the RS and GT steering wheel. So it's probably like a GT2 light. It's probably not as fast, probably not as light, probably not as aggressive. It's got a little under 63,000 miles. The price is $375,000. I don't know. I think that sounds a little bit high. I don't know if you can justify this being a modified 993 C2. Those typically sell for, $80,000 or $90,000. If those are the original Speedline wheels, those are going to be worth a few $1,000s. If the body kit is original, that would be worth a few $1,000s as well. But $375 sounds kind of high.
What are your thoughts? The fifth car we're looking at is an actual original 356 Speedster. This is from 1958 and it looks to be Guards red. The seats are either leather or leatherette with red piping. Really neat interior details, red and gold and chrome. Yeah, wow, this is an amazing machine. For every one original 356 Speedster, there's probably tens of thousands of replicas. So let's see what they're asking for this. So they're asking about $364,000, and this car is probably worth that. It looks to be in outstanding condition, very unique, original Speedster. I don't think it's listed in America, so yeah, we've got the phone number here. So if you're one of my viewers and you're not in America and you want to get this car, you are gonna have some very long distance shipping done. The seventh car on our list is this uniquely modified 911T. It looks like a previous owner did a pretty thorough reworking of it. It looks tasteful, it's eye-catching, it's pleasant. Let's get to some shots of the interior here. All right, so the interior looks pretty basic. They added this leather or suede strip right here. They added some little stopwatches. They've got some lightweight carpeting on the floor that was, I guess, semi-professionally installed. This actually does not look so great. Definitely a driver's car, but still looks like a very fun, very lightweight and entertaining car to drive. The upholstery on these seats also was done fairly second rate. Let's take a look at the engine here. All right, they've clearly done a lot of work here. The seller does not actually provide one single piece of information. So we don't know what was done to make this car more powerful. We don't know what was done to make it lighter, but I think we can assume it's quite a bit more powerful and it's at least a little bit lighter. Now the question is the $200,000 price warranted? It's got about 80,000 miles. That's certainly not bad for a car from 1971. I guess you'd have to see it firsthand. The interior modifications just look so poorly done. I guess if the engine was thoroughly rebuilt and has a big boost in horsepower, you could potentially warrant that price. But all in all, a very cool car that's probably a lot of fun to drive. The ninth car on this list is a 2023 911 Carrera GTS that's finished in Fjord Green and it has a manual transmission. So this is an extremely rare color on this car. It looks really nice, looks really great with those yellow brake calipers. Those black center lock wheels also look great. Another thing I really liked about this car is how unique the interior is. We've got this sort of caramel color with the gray piping and then gray GTS stitching. And then if we look at the steering wheel and the dashboard, we've got a little bit more of that gray leather here, and then we've got that sort of caramel leather on the lower knee pad. And then it looks like we've got some wood trim around the center console here. So let's take a look at some more detailed pictures. We've got a little bit more wood trim here. Then we've got some gray piping in the back. We've got gray seat belts. We've got the yellow trim around the tachometer dial. And then, I don't know, it looks like we have three different groupings of embossment here. It looks like we've got a newer 911. This looks like this might be the silhouette of a 356, and then we've got some text here. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if this is part of a limited edition or some other kind of special GTS trim. If anyone knows what's going on with these embossed characters on the armrest, let me know. But all in all, this is a really incredible car. So let's see, they're asking about $280,000. About 924 miles, so barely driven. Let's see if there have been any price drops. Let's see. It looks like they dropped it by $9,000. and it has been on Car Gurus for close to 100 days. So if you're interested and you've got $280,000 in your pocket, there's probably some flexibility on this beautiful car. And the last car on this list is this beautiful dark metallic blue Cayman R. Now the Cayman R typically comes with a graphics package. It looks like a previous owner had it deleted, but there are a few different ways you can tell it is the Cayman R. You've got these particular wheels right here. You've got the Arctic Silver intake grille, and you've got this raised spoiler right here, and that was all part of the Cayman R package. This car is very well spec'd. The only thing it's missing is a manual transmission, but it does have carbon ceramic brakes. It is in outstanding condition. Take a look at the interior here. Boo, that definitely should be manual. We've got the painted center console. I think that was standard for the Cayman R. It's got the Porsche carbon fiber bucket seats with what looks to be silver stitching. And we've got painted trim up here. Better shot of those seats. Then the Cayman R had these little pulls right here instead of the regular door latch. So this is priced at $70,000. It's got about 52,500 miles. I mean, I'd say that's a pretty fair price. I'm sure that not being a manual brings it down a bit, but these cars are no doubt some of the most enjoyable water-cooled cars Porsche has ever made. I've seen some Cayman R selling for $100,000 or more. Those definitely had lower mileage and those had manual transmissions. This is a driver's car, but if you can get past it not having a manual, this is an extremely fun vehicle to own. So that's it for this week, and I will put all of the listings for these cars in the video description in case you want to learn more about them. And we'll look at 10 new cars next week. Thanks for watching, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe.